I'm desperate for attention from men.
And I'm still trying to figure out what everybody's problem with being single is.
Women who dress up are desperate for male attention. Exactly.
Women, we are so addicted to attention.
A lot of women don't really want to admit, and is that women inherently want attention from men.
What happens when a generation grows up believing attention will always be available, and suddenly discovers it isn't? Why are more people talking about rising singleness, loneliness, and changing dating dynamics in 2026? And why does it seem like the dating market is becoming more confusing than ever before? Stay with us until the end of this video, because this trend may reveal why so many people are struggling to find the relationships they expected.
I do every single morning on my drive to work because I'm desperate for attention from men. I know that there's this area in Jersey City that's gonna have construction, so like I'll drive through it and all the workers are like, you know, doing their thing outside, and I'll put on my music extra loud while I'm driving by, and I roll down my windows a little bit so they can like definitely hear it. I'll put on like a common song that everybody's listening to, you know, like Rich Flex or something like that, and I'll be like, 21, can you do something for me? I'll be like, try to look back cute. And if you're looking at me, I'm looking at them. Why do I do that? Why am I driving like this? I feel mad accomplished, like, yeah. Yeah!
For years, social media created the impression that attention was unlimited. Likes, followers, messages, and validation became a normal part of everyday life for many people.
Maybe you went out last night, and maybe you sent a drunk text at some point, maybe you sent a photo at some point, maybe you posted a thirst trap at some point. If you woke up this morning regretting any of those decisions, I want you to stop feeling like shit right now. If you've been single, especially for a long time, we don't realize what the lack of attention can do to us, how it can make us feel, how it can make us need. If you haven't received positive attention from the gender you're attracted to in years, like years and years and years, if the only attention you're receiving is negative or unwanted, that can make you feel like absolute shit, and it can also drive some of these behaviors where we're trying to grab good, positive, wanted attention. So yeah, occasionally you'll send a fucking drunk text. Who cares? We come by our desire and our hunger very, very honestly, and I do not want you to feel embarrassed or ashamed for anything you do in your genuine pursuit of fucking attention. Married women never send drunk texts. Well, most of the time married women never send drunk texts, and it's not because they're better than us. It's because they don't fucking have to. So don't feel embarrassed, you're in good company, and I wish the attention we want was easier for us to find.
But real-world relationships operate differently. Attention online doesn't automatically translate into meaningful commitment, compatibility, or long-term connection.
Are single mothers dateable? You know, the most consistent thing about men is that they are highly inconsistent because it's hard to find any one group consensus on what they think of dating single mothers. Here's one thought that a lovely man decided to share with us. You dingbats forget there's a plethora of single moms that will suck the chrome off a trailer hitch after the first date. We don't need you in our lives anymore. All of our needs are taken care of, and we have peace. Double overdrive 87. I really appreciate you putting that out there. You know, I haven't heard of anyone refer to women as dingbats in a long time, so I appreciate that. But again, if you're using my content as a dating page, you done good. You done real good.
As dating culture evolved, expectations also changed. Many people became more selective, more cautious, and more focused on personal standards than previous generations.
You want to know how I know the men these days are just built a little bit different, baby? Everybody is always saying go to the home improvement store. So I went to Lowe's today, right? I go there for a purpose. I'm in my garden era, so I'm getting some dirt. You see the dirt back there? Tell me why not one man, young or old, offered to help me get that dirt off those pallets, okay? What I can say they did, they were waving and smiling all at my 2-year-old.
Why her face like that?
Okay? It ain't like I'm not a cute mama or anything. Like, you know, I'm cute. But
This is genuinely concerning to me. The time has come where a grown-ass woman will get online and complain that her 2-year-old got more attention than her. Not to mention any 2-year-old in a shopping cart in any store across America. If you walk by, they're going to look at you. Some of them go as far as even staring. The reason they're doing that is because they're brand new to Earth and all this is new information. They see someone new, so they're trying to understand who you are. And who would I be to give them a negative experience? If I see a 2-year-old staring at me, I'm just going to wave at them and say hello so I can show them positive reinforcement, positive feedback. You equated that interaction that quote unquote those men had with your 2-year-old compared to them not helping you put the soil in the cart and then ultimately in your car. What the fuck happened to the people that worked at Lowe's? I'm sure you had to go to a register and get rung up and pay for your soil. Why didn't you ask for help then? Why didn't you ask for help prior to you putting it in your cart? I'm calling Cap. I think she just made that story up. There's no one to discredit what she's saying because a 2-year-old's not going to speak. And it's very fucking weird, honestly. Because there's never a point in that story where she needed to make this face. Not one point. Even the baby in the back is like, what the fuck is she doing? Why is she doing that? But the moral of the story is, ask for help. I keep the change. Oh yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
At the same time, a growing number of men started stepping back from dating altogether. Instead of pursuing relationships, they began focusing on careers, fitness, finances, hobbies, and self-improvement.
Here's my hot take on a girls' night. Girls' night is not girls' night. Please stop lying. Dressing up in skimpy outfits, saying I'm doing it for my girls, I worked hard all week, I deserve this. No, you're not. You're actually chasing outside validation and attention from men who are not your husband or your boyfriend. Let's be real. That is not empowerment. That is pure disrespect. This has nothing to do with insecurity at all. This is about respect. Respect for your man, respect for your relationship, respect for yourself. If you're fully committed, why put yourself in an environment built on alcohol, hooking up, and sexual attention? You do not go fishing where you do not intend to catch. A real girls' night, in my opinion, that is pajamas, movies, laughs, deep talks, maybe some wine, not parading around bars, clubs, or where single people are on the prowl. Call it for what it is, temptation and destruction. If you think that's innocent fun, then you do not have the first clue about loyalty. Respect is a choice, and choosing to avoid those places is how you prove where your loyalty really stands.
This shift created an unexpected situation. The people who were traditionally expected to pursue relationships became less interested in chasing them.
A lot of women don't really want to admit, and is that women inherently want attention from men. It's in us. Like, we want male attention
from the right kind of man.
There you go.
Okay.
Let's correct that, because I know for me, I get very uncomfortable when I do get those type of attentions, and I'm
not talking about random like people hollering at somebody. I'm talking about wanting. Like, you don't, as a woman, you don't want to walk in a room and have men completely ignore you. Like, you want to be able to walk into a room and get noticed. You don't want necessarily to be hit on or anything in every situation. But I'm talking about, there is a deep need for women to be seen by men. The Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, they're going to see that, and they're going to see men lusting after them. And they're going to be like, well, if I'm going to get attention from men, I have to dress like this. And it actually pressures women to be, and it's the same thing with promiscuity. It pressures women to be more and more promiscuous, to show more.
What surprises many observers is that these men often seem content. They are building routines, businesses, friendships, and lifestyles that don't revolve around constant romantic validation.
Women, we are so addicted to attention that if we don't get the validation and attention from men, a lot of times we'll resort to this stuff. And that's why the social media age has really messed us up so much, because we're so used to getting a certain level of attention that it's unprecedented in all of history. Women have never gotten this much attention, even the most beautiful women, that a lot of times when it starts to go away, we just kind of start to go crazy. We start to go nuts and do bigger and bigger and more shit for attention. And that's just female nature, to be honest. You know, there's writings from hundreds of years ago about men complaining about this kind of stuff. The only difference is now it's just out of control.
Meanwhile, many singles are discovering that modern dating isn't as simple as social media made it appear. Finding genuine connection requires effort from both sides. The biggest change may be psychological. More people are realizing that attention and commitment are not the same thing, and that reality can be difficult to accept.
The majority of women aren't tapping out of dating. In fact, the older single women get, the more desperate they become.
Shut your ass up. Read a book. Because these older women, no, they putting on these younger women. Younger women are catching on. And they're not going for the bull. And you just mad that you're not getting chose in the process. Clean up your stuff. If you don't like something about somebody, then move on. No one cares. Because the good ones ain't looking for the bad ones. And the bad ones don't need to be looking for the good ones.
Also, I don't think the older women are getting desperate, because a lot of those are the same ones that's saying they tapping out too, because it's not worth it. Even when you get to their age in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, it's not worth it. It's all a waste of time.
Many men now view relationships as a bonus rather than a necessity. Because of that, they are becoming more selective about where they invest their time and energy.
And I'm still trying to figure out what everybody's problem with being single is. Because I've had so many comments like this where somebody would ask a young lady, why do you stay single? Why don't you just get a man? It really baffles people that a woman would not want to be in a company of a man. And she would rather just be with herself or her friends or her family. Anybody except a man. People just can't wrap their heads around it, because that would require them to challenge their own problems with being alone and being single and all that shit. And they don't want to do that. I had comments from women where people would ask them, what do you do with your time? What do you do with your life since you don't have kids? As if there's not a whole world out there where you can do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. And people think you don't have any options. You're limited to just sitting at home and doing nothing. Isn't that crazy?
Whether people agree with this trend or not, one thing is clear. Dating dynamics are changing rapidly, and old assumptions about relationships no longer seem guaranteed.
Women who dress up are desperate for male attention, exactly. That's why I spend 40 minutes choosing my dress. So a man wearing a basketball short could write me hello. Male attention is literally the easiest thing you can get. Bitch, I could literally go do my groceries and some random guy would ask me if I have a boyfriend. That dress is not an application. Cause let's take a look at the situation. You already see what you're getting. Beautiful dress, good perfume, everyday carnival, and an excellent lady. I don't see what I'm getting. Tell me more. You kind, you fine, you got some understanding. Can you support this carnival? Emotionally and unfortunately for you, financially. The outfit is public, gentlemen. Access to the woman is private. Learn the difference.
As more people adapt to this new reality, the gap between expectations and reality continues to grow.
Desperate and delusional women make the best victims, and Love Gone Revenge on Netflix is a perfect example of this. The show is on Netflix, and this is what it looks like on Netflix if you want to go watch. The level of desperation and the desire to be loved that the women displayed on the show is precisely why they were chosen for the scam. If you're going to follow along, I am currently discussing episode 5 and fast forward to about 13 minutes in. This portion is called Major League Scammer, and it is about a woman who was taken for $140,000. I'm going to tell you what happened, and then we are going to discuss the ways in which she signaled to the man who scammed her that she was ripe for the picking. So this woman, her name is Lindsay, and she was 32 years old when this occurred. She was on the TIN dating app and matched with a man named Christopher Lloyd. Christopher told Lindsay that he was a retired Major League Baseball player and that he used his money from playing in the major leagues to invest. Now he's super rich and he's a father, and he's just on Tinder looking for a good girl to settle down with. They begin to text back and forth every single day, creating a false sense of intimacy for Lindsay. So because Christopher Lloyd is a financial planner and financial advisor, he is interested in the people around them. He is interested in their money. So Lindsay reveals to him that she inherited her mother's 401k after her mother died in a tragic accident at a young age. By month 2, of them FaceTiming and talking on the phone and texting daily, Lindsay decides that it is a good idea to wire Christopher $140,000 based on a fake investment contract that he had drawn up. After she wire transferred that $140,000 to Christopher Lloyd's personal banking account, he stopped communicating with her as normal. And it was only when Lindsay began to feel rejected by this man who had been saying, good morning, beautiful, how are you? And checking in with her every day for the past 2 months, is when she started to put the pieces together that maybe she had been scammed. It was literally only because she began to feel rejected by Christopher that she started to have an inkling that something was up. Long story short, yes, the money is gone, and no, she will never get it back. So let's talk about what Lindsay did wrong. Number one, and I know that some of you are going to be offended, but I don't care what anybody says. For you to be a woman looking for love on a dating app signals desperation in the first place. Full stop. If you have a dating profile in the first place, the men know that you are likely desperate and looking to be loved. Next, putting too much information in your dating app profile. In her dating app profile, Lindsay let the world know that she had just recently moved to a new place, signaling to predators that she was likely isolated and did not have people around her to really protect her. Also, all of the women on the show, if you take note, they all talk about how they were single for a while. Once again, desperation. On Lindsay's profile, she was letting the men know that she had been single for a while and she was seeking a long-term monogamous relationship. Once again, to predators, that signals desperation. Especially that I've been single for a while part. Men know that there is a lot of shame and stigma attached to single women, especially single women who are above a certain age. And they will use that to their advantage. Okay, next up. Just because you are texting and talking to a man every day does not mean that you know him. The really bad thing about dating apps is that they create this false sense of intimacy. And a lot of women believe that just because they've been texting or video chatting with these men for a couple of weeks, that they actually know each other. No, you do not know that man. He is still a stranger to you. And because women love to overshare in order to try to create a bond with men, they use that to their advantage. And most of them are just parroting back what you have already said to them in order to make you like them more and feel as though you have a genuine connection. You do not. That man is still a stranger. Okay, so one opinion that I have is that I feel that there is a difference between going on dates with someone and actually dating them with the intentions to be together. Lindsay says that they were dating, but they were really going on dates. There was no established conversation or, talk about what their future together was going to be like. So, when it was finally time for Lindsay to wire the money to Chris, he was rushing her and telling her that if she did not get the money to him by a certain date, that the contract would expire and she would no longer be eligible to invest with him. Never, ever, ever let a man rush you into anything. Sex, meeting up with him, revealing intimate and personal details of your life. Never let a man rush you into anything. When a man is rushing you, that means that he has something to hide from you. When a man is rushing you, that means that you are in danger. Never let a man rush or bully you into anything. That should really signal alarm bells in your head. The next thing that Lindsay did was that she did not even research this investment firm that she was going to be putting her money into. Because she believed that she had found her perfect Tyrone, she did not bother to do any research. She took his word for it because she liked him and wanted to be liked by him. And the last thing that Lindsay did wrong was ignore her actual real-life financial planner's advice and still wired the money to Chris. Her real-life financial advisor told her that it was not a good idea, and especially not a good idea to clear out the entire 401k. But because Lindsay liked Chris and wanted to be liked by Chris, she pulled out all of the money and wired it to his personal bank account. Lindsay will never get that money back, ever. Ladies, please do better. The desperation and the delusion are making y'all marks.
So here's the real question. Are modern singles struggling because there aren't enough opportunities, or because the rules of dating have changed faster than most people were prepared for?
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.